I love it. Rachel, cheers.
Hey, Eric. Cheers.
Cheers to you.
Cheers to you.
All the amazing things we're going to talk about.
Awesome. I'm ready.
And wow, that is the start to that.
It's a good start.
That is a very good start. So we are in the... Can we talk about what it is? Are we allowed to?
Yeah,
Did
of
they
course.
give you authorization?
Totally.
Okay, all right, cool. Where are we?
Yeah, so we are in the expansion of Bonehouse Brewing. So we are in, there's construction stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
We are in the 2 suites right next door to the current brewery, and this is going to be our new fermentation space. We've got 4 new fermenters that are coming in here, potentially a barrel aging area as well.
Nice.
And we're going to start brewing a hell of a lot more beer.
Hell yeah, you have to. You got to keep up, right?
We do have to keep up. Yeah, it's a good problem to have.
For sure. Well, the city and the state are demanding Bonehouse's beer, so
Yeah.
myself included.
Yeah, well,
so
drink to that.
for sure. So what is this?
So what we have right now, this is our Helles Lager. This is Sonoran Shimmer.
Okay.
Nice German-style beer garden all-day drinking lager.
Yeah.
A little bit toasty, a little bit bitter, a little bit floral, a little bit herbal.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Just nice, easy, low ABV, 5% or so. So, yeah, it's a good beer to start off the summer with.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, there's a connection to why we're here, though, with that specific beer, right?
That is very true.
There's a reason that you brought this one out. Yes.
Yes.
I'm gonna move this just real quick.
Sure.
There you go. Perfect.
All right. Yeah. So this beer was actually Babe Brew #1. So we're going to talk a little bit today about the Beer Babes family, which is now a charitable organization in the United States.
So badass.
And we work with breweries throughout North America to brew beer to raise money for the Beer Babes Grant Fund,
Nice.
which gives back to women in the beer industry in the form of business grants. So women that own breweries or tap rooms or work for those places, if they need, a new walk-in, they need, new faucets, whatever, they can apply for a grant to help improve their business.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's what Beer Babes is doing is raising the money to I would say fill that fund.
Yeah.
Is that how you would say that?
Yeah.
I'm learning more about business. Business talk.
Yeah, me too. As I go, I'm learning.
Sure.
Yeah. So this was Babe Brew #1. All of the collaborations we do are called Babe Brew, and then they're just numbered consecutively from that. So this was the first one that we did with Bonehouse.
How long ago did you guys do this one?
This was in January.
This January.
Shit,
I thought this. It seems like it's been a lot longer.
I know, right?
It feels like this is. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, but you've done beers before. Like you've been a part of several brews before this, right?
So we were brewing beer with other places, not under the Babe Brew umbrella.
Okay.
So we were working with breweries to raise money, and then we were giving it to the Pink Boot Society.
Gotcha.
But we kind of saw a need for grants in the business side of things because myself and my co-founder, Roxy, who lives in Montreal, she also works for a brewery. And being in the business side of things, there's a vacancy in that part of the world. So we thought...
What do you mean? Like a vacancy is in what aspect?
As far as being able to give funds to women that need funding for their business.
Okay.
So the Pink Boots is awesome in that they're very education based, which is also very, very necessary. They Cicerone, fermentation school, BJCP, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But this is a different aspect of helping women in the beer industry.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah, because I mean, every place it doesn't make sense to be everything, right? We do this, we do this, we do that.
Yeah.
There are certain things that you specialize in, right? And that's really cool.
Yeah.
So, well, where did it start? And I know it was, if you go back to the Sip episode when we were at Sip Coffee and Beer. Had you on for a little bit. Watch out for the construction stuff. Construction site right here. That is a corner ruler, I think is the name of that piece of construction tool. I can't even make up words to make it seem like I knew what
People
I was
will know what you mean when you say that. They'll be like, oh yeah,
that's this thing is what I was talking about. It's a square, right? Is it? Moving on. I'm not cutting any of that out either because that's my own fault. But the backstory of you. So how did you get so into beer? Because it's really cool to see you in so many different aspects. Seeing you on a podcast talking about the history of beer. I mean, you work at a really badass place too, like for the full-time job, right? I don't know if we're allowed to talk about your full-time job.
Sure, we can talk about my day job. Yeah,
at the Musical Instrument Museum,
Yes,
which
yeah.
is a really cool thing.
Yeah.
So how beer? Like, how did beer become so much part of this?
So trying to like think how far back I want to go here.
When was the first beer you ever
When
drank?
was the first beer I ever? Well, when I was very, very little, like my dad would always share his
Okay.
beer with me.
And where are you from again?
Milwaukee.
Yeah, okay.
That's normal. Like my grandfather made a kegerator out of an old refrigerator that was in the
that's
basement.
beautiful. That
So
is
I was
beautiful.
pouring beers at like age 4.
Yeah.
Out of a tap. I think
Properly.
think that like this is in my blood sort of thing.
It literally is. Like,
Yeah.
that's not even a metaphor. Like, you grew up there, yeah.
Yeah. But as far as getting more involved in the beer community, just starting to work here at Bone House really opened up my eyes to this entire industry, which I had never, participated in.
Yeah.
Like I drank, sure, of course, who doesn't?
Sure.
But, I think probably with any profession, when you're going into it not knowing anything, there's a lot to learn, and hopefully you're inspired by it, and I certainly was. So working here, I got really interested in the Cicerone studies stuff.
Yeah.
One of the guys that works here, also DJ, he's also pursuing Cicerone stuff as
Oh,
well.
nice. Yeah.
And then the beer history thing, my background is in history, archaeology, art history, and the history of beer is literally the history of civilization.
Yeah.
So I had always been hearing about beer, learning about beer as I'm doing, my education in ancient studies. So that I like to use that and apply that to teaching other people about beer.
Yeah.
So, because it's so interesting.
It is.
And
yeah.
I think most craft beer drinkers are interested in learning about what they're drinking. They're not purely consumers.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
agree with you. Yeah.
I mean, there's like the beer drinkers, but then there's like the beer drinkers.
Yeah.
And craft beer drinkers are beer drinkers.
And that's kind of part of the draw of it, right? At least for me, that's a huge part of the draw, right? Because if you have let's say you have a brewery with really cool can art, and there's all this really, everything around it, or there's no depth to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? People want story, they want something behind it. So I think it's a necessary part, right, to kind of add that aspect to it.
Yeah, to build your brand, to build your following, to build family camaraderie, something that is more than just cracking a beer open and drinking it. Like you're part of something.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up in Ohio, and I know what type of people that I would see at the bars at 12 o'clock on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the people you see at Wren House at noon on a Tuesday. It's a different. So I grew up with a different, and probably even you in Milwaukee, it's a different mentality of just pounding 30 McGolden Lights and or Genesees or whatever it is. But there's so much, and I love that you brought the history aspect of it, because it is. I think there's a book on it. I've saved it, but I haven't read it yet. I haven't got to that point, but where it's like basically how beer changed the world and how much of a part of history it's been.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah. So, but it wasn't until you worked here that you really kind of found like, holy shit, craft beer is really cool. Or was it you were already kind of interested and then you started working here? You know what I mean?
So I was just the person that enjoyed the craft beer drinking before I started working here.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, when I was doing my studies in school and stuff, going through, like my focus was on Egyptology, and so beer was a huge part of ancient Egypt, and so there's tomb imagery of breweries and things like that. So I always knew that beer was a big part of civilization as a whole. That was never really my focus in research or anything like that. So I was just a beer drinker for the most part, but then coming here, working here, and seeing that there's a hell of a lot more to beer than just making it and drinking it. That's
Yeah.
kind of when my mind like just expanded, and I was like, whoa, this is really cool.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot here that I can do and that I can talk about and that other people are interested in, and it's just fun and easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fun and easy. That's
Yeah.
that's the keys in life.
Yeah.
Well, what a place to start with, right? I think we've talked about this before. Bonehouse with the story that is like just ingrained in every aspect of the brewery is really cool. So you got firsthand like what a beer brand can create, that's not really related to beer, but is, I think sometimes we think too narrowly and like, okay, has to be glasses, hats, this, that, but there's more to the, I don't know. I love what they do.
Yeah, no, it can be a big part of your lifestyle. So right now we're working on a summertime campaign called Beer for the Adventure.
Okay.
Because I'm a big hiker. Folks that work here are big outdoorsy people, and you're always bringing beer with you wherever you go, whether it's on a hike or if you're out on the boat wakeboarding or, skateboarding or, kayaking, whatever. It's like there's community in those events and things, but there's also community in sharing beer and all of that and those sorts of things, at least in my close-knit circle.
Yeah.
That's what people do.
For sure.
And so we want to encourage people to bring our beers out on their adventures and share it with the world, because that's what we're all doing anyways. So might as well.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Well, so Beer Babes, how did that like kind of all come to start?
So that was just a Instagram whim. So I always feel kind of silly talking about Instagram in the way that it has literally and completely changed my life.
Okay. All right.
Like I still feel like that kind of sounds silly, but
meaning that it has.
It's 110 bajillion %.
Yeah.
So during COVID, I started my beer page, and I wasn't serious about it at all.
Benkowski?
Yeah, Brews with Benkowski.
Okay.
Actually, one of my coworkers at the museum, he was like, you drink a lot of beer, and like you should make an Instagram page about it. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, who would care about beers that I'm drinking? I couldn't have been more wrong, clearly.
Yeah.
But I just was like, all right, fine, I'll do it. I'll try it. We'll see what happens. And I was so this was during COVID. I was drunk scrolling one night, as we tend to do. And I get really chatty when I've had a few beers. And I ran across this Instagram profile of this woman that was posting about beer and history.
Okay.
And she was based in Montreal. This is now my co-founder, Roxy. So I sent her a message because I was like, hey, I like history. I really like your content. This is really cool. I also love Montreal. It's one of my most favorite cities in the world.
I've heard great things about it.
Yeah. So we just started talking. And she invited me to be part of an interaction group, which I didn't really know anything about at the time. Yeah. But it's basically like a bunch of people come together in a group message, and you basically commit to each other that anytime someone makes a post, you're going to like it, you're going to comment on it. And that generates the algorithm around your profile. And I can speak truthfully that it makes your following go up exponentially. So if you have the time to dedicate to doing this, you will definitely see more, followers.
Excellent.
So I started doing that, but then I was like, well, why don't we do something that's women in beer? Because I'm always trying to think about how women are involved in things. And she was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't think about that, but sure, let's do it. So we wrangled together 20 different women, and I was like, well, we need a name for our little group of ladies here. And I just said, let's just call it the Beer Babes family.
Yeah.
I didn't think anything of it, whatever. She's like, all right. So we did, and then we started this interaction group with these women, and we started using the hashtag Beer Babes Family. And then pretty soon that, really started generating attention. Yeah. And women were reaching out and being like, what is this?
Yeah.
How do I participate? Like, what's happening here? And we were like, we're just a group of people that comment and like each other's photos. Like, we're not anything at all. And they're like, well, you should be. And we were like, really? So then we started the Instagram page, the Beer Babes Family. And then shortly after that, a home brewer in Cave Creek reached out to us.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Ember Brewing, Daniel.
Yes.
And he was like, I want to brew a beer for you guys, and you can, quote unquote, sell it, and the money can go to whatever charity you choose.
Yeah.
And we're like, all right, that's cool. He was fantastic.
Yeah.
He ended up having to brew 3 different batches because it was so popular.
Oh, wow.
And we sold all of it so quickly. And from there, it was like, all right, this is potentially something.
Yeah.
So we did a few more versions of that with other breweries. And we kept donating to the Pink Boots. And then eventually it seemed to be like something that we should take more seriously and look at it as a charity perspective from our side of things to create our own thing.
And this doesn't matter how many months, pretty much, right? A few months? Or is this a year?
So I'm trying to think. So the Ember beer was February of 2021.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yes, that was the first Beer Babes Family collaboration beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it gets blurry around that time.
Yeah,
Right?
I know,
It's
right?
what
It's
was
like, I don't even know what day it is now. Yeah, so a year and not quite a half-ish, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So we built a website, and our 501c3 was approved in April.
Ah, excellent.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So as you guys are starting it up, because it sounds like it's kind of spread around, right? I mean, I know there's Arizona presence, but in Montreal, but it's all around, right? How do you do something like where you're raising funds? And I mean, alcohol is a tricky one too, right? Because you can't just, hey, we're selling it from here and then we're going to ship it here.
Right. Yeah.
So how do you guys go about finding ways to, like, how do we do this?
So what we've been doing thus far is, so like this beer that we're drinking now, the Babe Brew 1, was brewed exclusively for the Copper State Beer Festival that was back in January.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So that was to kind of get the word out, and all of this beer was sold locally.
Okay.
I did personally send some to some people.
Yeah.
But
Hand delivered.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. But it was sold locally.
Yeah.
And that's how we're going to approach it from here on out.
Yeah.
So if we work with breweries that have a distributor, then certainly they can distribute it wherever they want, or have it on your tap, or 4 packs to go, or whatever.
Yeah.
And we're working with breweries all throughout North America. So Babe Brew 1 was here in Fountain Hills. The second one was in Montreal, with a brewery up there, La Brosse. The third one was with Common Law Brewing and Dark Shadow in Nashville.
Nice.
Ad Astra here in Prescott was our most recent release in May.
Yeah.
And then the next one coming up is another one in Canada. With the brewery that Roxy works for.
Nice.
Oh, and I forgot one. Babe Brew number 4 was brewed by Chatty Monks in Reading, Pennsylvania.
Nice. So all over the place.
Yes.
Very cool. Are you getting to go all these places in person?
I mean, I would
Business
love
expense?
to someday. Yes. Someday when this is my full-time gig, yeah, absolutely. But right now, unfortunately, no. So we work with women in the vicinity of those breweries, or they mostly have personal connections to those breweries.
Yeah.
So either they work there or they know someone that works there, and then that's how we make these connections.
That's cool though, because that your reach is so much greater.
Yes.
Than you have to like take all of the. You have to fly out and be the one that does every single thing. And
I mean, I'd be
would love
okay
to,
with that, but like I said, someday, not now, but someday, yeah.
So everything is up to this point is our beers, right? Fundraising beers. Is that the goal? Is to continue, or do you want to expand into events or any other things like that you kind of have in the
I mean, I think we're open to anything right now. Just getting started out. Our focus is just doing the collaboration beers because we kind of have a grasp on how all this goes now that we've done. It'll be 6 beers this year already. But yeah, I mean, I'm we're wide open.
Yeah.
It's an open book. Like,
making beers is fun.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. And the people that make beers are incredible.
They are.
Just,
yeah.
The community is redonkulously wonderful.
It really is.
It really is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the last I haven't got to taste the one that you did with Ad Astra, but it looks amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like what the hell? What did you guys do with
Will,
that?
Will did a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, his inspiration he wanted to do a stout for sure, because that's his wheelhouse. Like, that's what he's like, this is what I do best.
Yeah.
We like to give whatever brewery or brewers that are working on our beers to showcase whatever they want.
Yeah.
So if it's like a style that they're like, this is fucking mine, like this is what I do best, sure. Or if you want to do something crazy that maybe head brewers like, I don't think we're ready for that yet, if you want to do that with us, you can do that with us, and that's cool. So Will was like, I'm doing a stout, I want it to be a pastry stout, but he's like, I have all these ideas of how I want it to like taste and like the mouth feel. So not too heavy, not too sweet. It ended up being a little bit over 11% ABV, but there's no way that you can taste that alcohol in there.
Really?
I mean, it is a sneaky little beer. And then the raspberry, that was just us kind of talking about it and talking about different flavors and things. And I was like, a really nice dark chocolate raspberry might be good. And then he was like, oh, well, let's throw some coconut in there too. And so, it's nice. And I like pastry stouts in small doses if they're super sweet. I don't have a big sweet tooth, and this beer it's not that like level of sweetness at all.
That's good to
nice
know.
And bitter finish, which I like a 95% dark chocolate.
Yeah.
Just really nice. Yeah.
Very specific.
Yes.
Very specific.
I mean,
and he nailed it.
It's good. It's good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where can people find it? Like, so I know Ad Astra. Obviously, you could get it at Ad Astra.
So we sold out this beer like the weekend that it was released because the tap rooms were so freaking awesome down here in the valley. Because I was like, I know we need it down here.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'm going to have to remember now. So there is a bottle shop in Sedona, Jesse Lee's.
Jesse Lee's, yeah.
Yes, okay. Tap Savvy, Chupacabra, Bottle Shop 48, Ground Control. Oh my God, I'm gonna forget somebody.
You're doing great so far.
Shit. There was 7. I want to pull out my phone and look at the rest of them.
You can if you want to give proper.
My phone's in the other room.
Well, but you can find it out there, right? Beer Babes Family.
It's on the website.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
All right. We're not going to hold you to that, Rachel. So, you guys are too late, anyways. It's already sold out, right?
I mean,
you mean they sold it from and so these places have
so
that.
these,
okay.
So Will sold all of his inventory that weekend to these guys.
Yeah.
So I know Tap Savvy had it on tap, Ground Control had it on tap, Chupa had it on tap, and then bottles as well for those places and the other places. Casual Pint, Central Phoenix.
Nice.
I think that they had a slim maybe. I'm going to yell it out when I remember it later with the other ones.
We'll edit it in. It'll be just Rachel. Leave me a voicemail. It's this one. No, that's really cool. I'm really, after, meeting you and starting to work with you, with the Taste of AZ and just seeing what you do with the beer community. I love seeing you continue to grow and expand this. This is really cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, because sometimes you can have an online presence, but not an in-person presence type of thing, right? There's which is great. You can, having, like you said, like Instagram has completely changed things for you, right?
Yes, absolutely.
But for you to have both of those things, I think that's a great asset to have. You know what I mean? It's like kind of that introvert, extrovert. It's like, so, you kind of bring the whole package. So keep kicking ass.
Oh yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
I love meeting people. I love talking with people. I love sharing beers with people. And that's like beer. It's about community and camaraderie and sharing, a beverage with people and talking with them and, social lubrication, all the stuff. Like that's what we should be doing with this lovely beverage right here. So
lovely, almost empty glass.
I've been talking too much. Clearly, I need to catch up.
I also drink for a living, so don't be afraid.
Live the dream, my friend.
Yes. I'm not ashamed to admit that. Yeah.
That's lovely.
Yeah. So, no, well, thanks for joining. I'm glad that, like I said, to see the progress that you're making, and I'm glad that you jumped on the show with me.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Real quick. So what is I know you're just kind of taking things as they come and open to all opportunities, but do you have like a, 3-5 year vision of where you want to see the Beer Babes family go?
I mean, truthfully, on the spot, no, I haven't thought that far ahead.
I haven't either. So
yeah,
not even in life,
I'm hoping that after this year, because we're going to brew either 10 or 11 beers this year,
Nice.
that we're going to have a really good idea of how to approach things in the future. And, the more you meet people and talk with people, they have ideas or they want to do different things with you. I mean, we're just ready to see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, keep it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Very cool. And the website is?
Beer Babes Family.